This is a summary of the almost 4-hour long video I did on what the complete story to Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth really is. Quite a few people on forums were turned off by its length, so this video will be a summary of the complete story. To keep it short, it will be just the summary. Any meta-analysis type of video will come later on. Most of the clues to what is really going on in the re-trilogy are from differences between the original and new games, and paying a close attention to what characters say and do. I showed that Wedge was used as an example of there being concrete reasons for these differences, that it was not just a tease or fan service to keep Wedge alive a little longer, but it actually had a mechanical purpose. Specifically, the Whispers saved Wedge during the Platefall events so that he could give Avalanche a reason to continue to Shinra Tower. In Remake, the President Shinra scene and the end of the bridge scene gave the strongest clues as to what Jenova's, Sephiroth's, and Aerith's intentions were. It sounded like Jenova set up the argument between Shinra and Barrett to test Barrett, see what he would do when he had his ultimate enemy in his hands and could demand anything he wanted.
That is what matters most to you?
At the end of the bridge, when Aerith told Sephiroth he was wrong, Sephiroth responded with, "Those who look with clouded eyes see nothing but shadows." Aerith responded, "Everything about you is wrong." This was the first hint that Aerith was going to be a problem. She had an absolutist attitude that defined the very existence of Sephiroth as wrong, similar to when the Geese said that their isolation was punishment for the sin of their existence. Interestingly, Sephiroth's response is actually the background to the safer Sephiroth fight from the original. It means he's speaking from experience, and indicates he now knows his original perception of himself as a righteous angel was wrong. By the end of the scene, Aerith decides to defeat the Arbiter of Fate and defy destiny, despite the Whisper screaming at her. Why? Because she has Sephiroth painted as the ultimate bad guy and wants to end him. Going into Rebirth, it's clear Jenova has a grasp on Rufus, being able to turn his strategy away from the Magnus materia back to his father's goal of pursuing the Promised Land, even though he stated twice, once at Junon Parade with Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith, and once during his first portrayed meeting as president, that he was rejecting his father's goals pertaining to using Aerith to find the Promised Land. Yet, within a day or two, he changed his mind, saying seeing the Promised Land with his own eyes has always been a dream of his. Sephiroth's interjections into both Cloud's and Rufus's mind in the two new games are designed to train them to break free from manipulation, specifically Jenova's, but also others. The overarching pattern of Sephiroth's work on Cloud is to prepare him to save Aerith by 1. Using reverse psychology to get him to feel more, 2. Emphasize his lack of control when failing or losing others, and 3. Put himself in front of Cloud many times compared to no times in the original, so Cloud may practice breaking free from his freeze reaction to Sephiroth and defy him. At the Forgotten Capital, Sephiroth splits the party into a second world and has Cloud come in the building where Aerith is praying by himself. When Cloud reaches Aerith, he does actually save her in one world because of Sephiroth's training, but Aerith herself blocks that reality from the rest of Avalanche using the White Whispers. Before we can understand why Sephiroth prepares Cloud to save Aerith and why Aerith blocks that world, we have to figure out what really happened with the Black Materia. Aerith actually finds the black materia at the bottom of the crater. After the temple collapses, she slowly lowers her head, leans forward, and is shocked by what she sees. She has 2 shocked expressions, once before Cait Sith announces he is still around, and once after. Aerith walked out across the branch over the true Geese black materia, and after she and Cloud fell, she had a White Whisper cover Cloud's vision so he couldn't see her retrieving the real one and put it in his pocket. This, of course, fits the original having the temple become the black materia. Why does Aerith not tell Cloud or the rest of Avalanche about this? We know she lies to them about Sephiroth beating Cloud up and taking the black materia from him rather than him giving it over. But why lie about finding the real one? The Geese village holds the answer. On the boat, we can see the Livestream fractures into green and yellow for the first time. There is red and blue in the sky. Later, we can see the Livestream fracture around the fonts in Cosmo Canyon that hold back red essence attempting to escape. It's also seen when Cloud takes the black materia from the pedestal and when Aerith attempts to guide the Livestream for the first time in the ancient temple. Here, it does not just break into yellow particles, but also waves of blue. Yellow is the predominant color of the particles signaling the space between worlds, and is part of the waves of Livestream seen outside Aerith's house after the fall of the Sector 7 plate. This all indicates that yellow is the color most associated with the life and worlds of Gaia. Then, when it all mixes with whatever this blue is, it creates the green Livestream. Bugenhagen's planetarium also confirms this. If the Gee's red essence were to mix with the blue, you would get purple, which is Jenova's dominant color. In the Gee village, besides red, there are some statues with a purple aura. Several purple auras are tied to little effigies, little Jenova Dreamweaver effigies. They have a face atop a torso, 2 large protrusions on top, 3 arms on both sides with something vertical in front of them. Jenova Dreamweaver has exactly 3 small tentacles on both sides of her upper body, plus the large mantle above them. The larger tentacles coming from below often obscure the front of the 3 smaller ones. This is as much proof as we are going to get at this point that Jenova and the Gee are working together. Jenova is likely made of the same red essence of the Gee mixed with whatever this other blue essence is. In fact, we see tons of this blue Mako essence during the Jenova Life Clinger fight as it pours down around the edges after the first phase. And it is the same color of the blue Mako encasing Sephiroth and the weapons in the northern crater. It seems like the blue Mako is some sort of power, amplifier, or enabler that both Gaia's yellow and the Gee's red need to become activated and potentially generate new life. But strangely, the Geese say their current goal is not to create new life, but to annihilate their essence entirely. Why would they want to do that? The Geese say they cannot return to the Livestream because one cannot return from which one did not arise. However, something I didn't mention in my original video is that it is not actually true that the Gee cannot enter the Gaia's Livestream. There is a Final Fantasy where the Livestreams of 2 worlds alien to each other do merge. It is a major part of the plot, so in order to try to not spoil it, I'll just say that this Final Fantasy was nothing like any other Final Fantasy in any way besides the fact that the planet had a Livestream and there was an interplanetary spiritual conflict driving the plot. If it wasn't clear before, this should make it clear what Sephiroth, the Gee's, and Jenova's real strategy is. Sephiroth had the Gee tell the group about their black materia's supposed ability to destroy their essence, because that is what Aerith wants. She is trying to get rid of Sephiroth entirely, but because simply killing him is not enough, she needs to annihilate his spirit essence. This is ultimately why Sephiroth allowed Aerith to take the Gee's black materia that the temple became. Aerith and the Cetra don't seem to know about the connection between Jenova and the Gee. When Cloud puts the black materia into his sword while Aerith is directly speaking to his mind, it tells us her plan is clearly to have Cloud attack Sephiroth's real body in the northern crater with his black materia-infused Buster Sword, because she thinks it will destroy his spirit essence. Aerith is being set up. When Cloud attacks Sephiroth, the red in the Gee's materia will combine with the blue in the north to revive Jenova. Then, Sephiroth will shunt the blue Mako from the north, south into Cosmo Canyon, using the life springs he diverted the green Livestream out of, seen during a side quest with Bugenhagen, to then revive the Gee. We will end up in a Game of Thrones situation, with Jenova in the north, the Gee in the south, Midgar in the east, and Wutai in the west. Rocket Town, which we have not yet visited, sits in the center of them all. And the key to Sephiroth's strategy is Aerith's reluctance to see reality, which is emphasized many times in Remake and Rebirth with sky and cloud allegories.
People hate the steel sky, the slums, but I don't. How could I? And you're wrong.
Those who look with clouded eyes see nothing but shadows.
Everything about you is wrong.
What will we find on the other side?
Boundless, terrifying freedom. Like a great, never-ending sky. This sky. I don't like it.
Though at least with the steel sky you know your limits. Out here, it's endless. I kinda get what Aerith was saying now.
However, you'll never see the truth with such clouded eyes.
Shut up!
After all, you're just a puppet.
In the last fight with Sephiroth, Aerith literally creates a cloud so that she cannot see the universe at the edge of creation and what the planet will become a part of that Sephiroth showed Cloud. Sephiroth is depending on this. He laughs at her several times because of her reluctance to be open to different possibilities. Even though she decided to defy fate, ideally she is limiting her impact to just getting rid of Sephiroth. That is the gist of the hidden backstory of what is really going on in Remake and Rebirth. Most of my original 4-hour-long video is composed of clips from the Final Fantasy VII compilation that supports these ideas and a few more. When I posted it on a forum, I got a comment that the person was disappointed I didn't do a meta-analysis of the game, like the question of why did the developers decide to remake the story this way. I do have ideas for why they decided to go this route. There were reasons why I myself made a 4-hour-long video explaining this theory. That will be the next video I make, probably. For now, thanks for watching. Hopefully this video was able to reach a wider audience. You can subscribe or just stay tuned for other content coming in the future. Talk to you then.